Hey guys, and how's it going? I grabbed this Honda snowblower over the course of the summertime. I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks at a yard sale. Didn't run it for a while. We went through it, cleaned the car, got it up and running. And at that time it was summer, so we had no snow to blow. And all we had was some leaves, kind of pushed them around. It did okay. It had some issues when we were looking at it at that time. One was on the auger, the pads or shoes or wherever you like to call them were pretty much worn down, so I expect the efficiency to be fairly low on that, and the RPMs do seem a little low on that too. So I figured, why don't we go make a video seeing what improvements certain things make on that. So we'll fire it up, get her warmed up. There is snow outside, I got about 4 inches or so, 4 or 5. We'll try it, see how it is now. Then when we'll come back, we'll either put these on or turn the RPMs on, see how that does, and then do the last step and see which one makes the most improvement, or any at all. So give me a couple minutes, we'll get her warmed up, we'll get outside, and we'll try it out. This was out in the tent garage. I just dragged it into the garage, so the machine is cold, 20 degrees cold. Let's fire it up, see how she does on a cold start. Gas on, choke closed, it's in the run position. I think we are good to go. Let's see what happens. You impressed? Around. You can hear by the RPMs it's not running very fast. Open the door, let it warm up a minute. As you can see, that's very pathetic. I know it's going to be tight in there, but we're going to do our best to do a little show and tell on the inside of it. So right there, this arm coming down, that is the governor arm that maintains the RPM. If you notice, there's a spring that runs across it. That spring runs to over here on this gold colored cam, and you see that gold colored cam has 3 holes on that. Essentially, the more that you pull on that spring, the higher the RPMs will get. So if you're looking at that, you can see that it is on the shortest distance. I believe it's on the shortest. I gotta look at that closely. And that we need just to increase the pull on that spring will bring our RPMs up some. So I decided to cheat a little bit, and I ended up just putting a tie wrap through half of the spring so that it just essentially puts more tension on the arm. So only half the spring now has the movement. Kind of the same idea, just it's out of adjustment on that side. This machine has been apart by somebody before, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up. You can see all the blue silicone down in between the 2 halves of the case. So it's been apart before by somebody else, and who knows what it has gotten, bent and cobbled. It just sounded a little low on the RPMs for me. And again, no harm, no foul. We just go back with a tie wrap, cutter, and cut the tie wrap and remove it, and it's right back to where it was. So let's go put it back down. We'll fire it up, see what the RPMs are. Go from there. Let's go fire it up, see what it sounds like for RPMs. Watch it explode. Over red, screams and blows up. On. Fuel is on. Choke. Let's give it like half choke. I'm not quite sure what it's going to need. as you can see, all it does is pretty much clog itself up. It doesn't even clear itself out very well and blow any snow. Here, one more. As you can see, it's pretty lame. So let's go change those paddles on there and see what kind of improvement we get. Alright, so I took an air gun, blew out all the snow that was on it, and grabbed the kit that was sitting on the side. Unfortunately, we are going to have one problem, is that the 4 pads in the middle are not the same. And this one only had 2, this kit only had 2 of them. So we're going to have to probably come up with something different. These may or may not be the same. We'll pull one of them out and see if that lines up to it or not. But I wanted to show down on the back side where most of the issue is. Okay, so here's those paddles. They spin around, they flip the snow and fling the snow up. Well, you can see the different distance between this wall and the paddle. I can stick my hand right down in between there. So that's what the issue is, that the snow kind of just lays behind and doesn't get flung. Plus, you know, figure the paddle, the tip of my fingers is the extension of the paddle. The shorter they are, when they're going around a circle, the slower they are moving. So the further out they are, you know, again, you got something running, say, at 200 RPM. Well, the feet per minute here going around and the feet per minute here is probably double the speed on the outside of it. So it flings it that much faster, that much more acceleration to it. So they're pretty much worn down. You're supposed to be able to take the snowblower and you fire it up, you pull the handle, and as you kind of lean down on the front of it, as these are spinning, it pulls the snowblower along. This one, they're so wore out, you kind of like, you go to the point where you're flat, you're actually kind of lifting up on a little bit and trying to blow snow. That's the other issue with these being so far gone. So let's get one of these out and see how close it comes to one of these. I got the screws out on one of them, I think. Let's go see what it's going to take to snake that out of there. Hold on. Wrecking the joint. Let's see how close that comes to lining up to any of these bolt holes. I have a feeling that this situation is not going to pan out very well for us. It is they're cut, not even cut on the same radius. Well, doesn't that suck? I wonder if we should put this on the shelf and maybe order the right auger kit for it and move forward. I shall decide that at a later date, I guess. Alright, so I did go in and order a new set, the correct set that will set us up. The only problem with it is I wanted to run it in the same snow to show the difference in the conditions. So I'm not quite sure how that is going to iron out and what we'll have for snow at that point, but I guess we'll figure that out when we get it back together. Alright, we can play good news, bad news, good news if you like. Good news is parts came in. Bad news is it's about 10 days later, so all the snow that was accumulated outside from that snowstorm has since melted away. But the good news is it's snowing again. So hopefully by the time we get it all back together again, we'll have enough to go still test the machine out. Yeah, so this is the one that came off of it. Let's go see. I also ordered a new cutting edge too. I think everything all together was 50 bucks delivered. I just went on eBay. So hopefully that has the same amount of holes as that. And then when we lay it flat, they have a similar profile. You can see how much has wore off, how far down they are. So, I would definitely say that should make for a good improvement. Start swapping some parts around. I'm going to start with changing the scraper blade out. And that goes roughly like that, but you can see how there's pretty much nothing left anymore. So I see two 10 millimeters in the middle, and I see two on the outside. I think this bracket's going to drop down, and I don't know if these are just pins or if it's keyed on the other side. They do not go through. I think it's just locating pins. We are going to find out. Like that. I would definitely say two of those have shown their wares. Throw that back on. And yeah, they were just little nubs sticking up for it to sit on. Just like that. And Cutting Edge is back on, and this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to go take the metal spacers that are in it, transfer them over to the new one. They just keep it so that when you put the nut and bolt back together, it doesn't crush this part of the metal down, so they can kind of float around a little bit. Transfer those and change those four out. So I changed the first one, but it was very tight trying to get the rubber piece down in there, and it's just a gap between here. So I went and I cut a piece of wood. I haven't tried it yet. Figured let's go give that a, here's it before. Let's see. Yeah, it's to get it in there. A bit of a workout. So I wonder if I can tap it open a little, and then when you bolt it back together, my piece of wood might be a little too thin. It's a joke there somewhere. Might have to just cut the tip off a little. It was bottoming out. Let's see what we got though. Oh yeah, well at least I can place it in there now. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to knock off about ½ inch of that. We'll try it again. About an inch. Let's see if that works better as a spreader. The other thing too, I could probably spray some silicone or dishwashing liquid on it. Let's see if that made our life any easier though. Yeah. That'll work. I gotta put the spacers in there before I get carried away. So I have two of them changed out now, and silicone was a definite help. I just sprayed it down inside the metal track. I'm trying to show, I know it's dark, the distance now between the back of the auger housing and the rubber. And then if you can see on this one how far away that one is, you can stick your fingers underneath that one. This one you got about 3/16 at its closest location. And again, these have not been changed yet. We'll admit, these did put up a bit of a fight. If I had to do it again, I might heat them up. Temperature could be an issue. It just seems like it was a little too short for the span, so you had to kind of pull it to the one hole, work the bolt in it while you were trying to get this out of there. This is out of my stash for just such a purpose, but it helped guide it straight. You got it lined up, got the bolt on the other side, kind of started at the same time, and quickly just swapped them over. Was the trick. Anyway, we are off to changing out the paddles. I did one already, and let's see, they went much easier than the other ones did. We got a little bit of fine tuning to do, a bit of a bend. So now we got it apart, let's go give her a couple of love taps. Get ourselves a new one. Nope. Jumping too fast. Forgot my spacers. So people are saying to cut them out of a tire. I would not want to go through the effort of trying to cut these out of a tire. I think that would fight you pretty good. And I think the paddle parts were $29. You could have gotten them delivered for like 29 bucks. So for the amount that it cost, I don't think I would chase it. Unless you were got a very sharp knife. Look at the time on your hands. So we're going to do this for a couple more. And we'll be good. Yeah, they're all changed out now. There is about 3/16 of an inch between this rubber edge and the housing. If you ever guys watched 65 Ford, he did one where he took a regular snowblower and added to the impeller on a 2-stage and extended essentially the same idea, and he made it just so this edge and this edge were almost to the point where they were touching. And the further away you get from the center, the faster this is moving. So give you an idea, moving as far as like let's say land speed. I'm trying to think of a way to put it. So halfway in from the center, say this is doing 100 feet per minute. All the way out from the center is doing 200 feet per minute. So every little extra you get out accentuates itself how fast it's spinning. So it gives it that much more velocity to throw the material out. It's not just a fact of it not being able to seal to the drum, although that is a part of it too. You're also getting much more velocity out further out on the edge. Make sense? I hope. Right. We only got to 1 inch of snow, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Might do some garage cleaning. I think I wanted to show is just how close it is to the bench. It is about 1/8 of an inch from touching. The cutting edge on the back is adjustable so that you can raise and lower that. Essentially, you're raising and lowering the auger housing by adjusting that cutting edge. I'm about in the middle right now. I want to see how it is, but you don't want it so that when it's just by itself, it's touching the ground. You want to be able to kind of lift up on it a little bit, and the rubber of the auger actually kind of touches the ground a little, and it will pull itself along. It's essentially how, you know, it's not powered as, you know, the back tires having a drivetrain to turn them, but that's kind of how they work. You don't really have to go push on them. You kind of lift up on them, they'll draw themselves along. All right, see how far we're doing outside. Yeah, we got something. Let me get the light to click. Yeah, man. I'll wave around like an idiot out in the yard till it goes. There it goes. I'd say we got not quite as much, but there's probably 3. Let's go fire it up, see how it does. Yeah, go let all the heat out. Let's go cold start this thing. Let that warm up a second. out. Nothing go anywhere. Go anywhere to this up. It'll pull itself along. So it's not exactly the same thickness in snow to go test it in, but you definitely can see the difference in the amount of performance that it has. So guys, that's going to wrap it up. Just a quick little video on playing with that Honda. And I will see you on the next one. So until then, thanks for watching. Bye. Perfect. Alright, so it is the next morning, and it went from snow to rain over the course of the night, so it's pretty much dealing with almost straight water. But let's go give her a fire up again and see how it does in this stuff. This is probably the worst conditions you could have, and generally they do not have very good luck, but let's go see. Doesn't clog up. I'd be happy with that. But we're going to go for the big Honda to finish up the job.